Toys have feelings, right? Well, this one certainly does. This is Ben. He's been around in my child's repertoire of things, comfort things, for a very long time. And when we were fostering our boys, we gave them a toy each, and they then took that toy with them everywhere. And they would refer to the toys as people, and they would give the toys names and feelings, and you can use that to your advantage. So whether you're a foster carer or an adopter, or whether you are just a parent who feels like you need to make some sort of progress with your child when it comes to them understanding children's emotions and feelings, adults' emotions and feelings, and you're struggling with that, and especially if there's a communication problem or some sort of delay, then I'm going to give you some tips on how you can use a toy such as this. So the first thing to do is to identify a toy that your child really likes. It might be one that you already have, or it might be that you go out and you make a special occasion by buying such a toy. It's really good if it's cuddly, soft, and something they can carry around with them. So don't make it huge. Don't go out there and get this humongous great elephant. If you want to take that to the shopping precinct with you, then you may be a little bit embarrassed. It might be actually very impossible to do that. So make sure that the toy can be carried around with you to different places. The toy will need a name, a specific name that you don't change, and your child is going to choose that name for the toy. If you've got something that can be dressed and undressed, then you're going to be able to use the toy for developmental purposes as well. So in our country, we've got something called Build-A-Bear. They're very expensive, so I'm not suggesting you go out and get one, but with Build-A-Bear you can get shoes, you can get jackets, hats, the lot. You know, you can personalize the toy, so that's going to give you an extra string to the bow with the toy that you can then develop their fine motor skills, explain to the child that people have emotions. Now that sounds like a very simple thing, but with 2-year-olds, and we were talking about biting recently in a video, so I'll link that for you in the description in the video. We were talking about biting and how sometimes it's difficult to tell a toddler that they've hurt someone. So they see the reaction in your face. It's like this with all toddlers really. They do something, they wait for a reaction, or they don't, but they see a reaction in your face, and by that they know they've done something wrong. Now lots of parents don't understand that at a very young age of say 2 or 3, really empathy has not developed. It is beginning to develop, but it hasn't fully developed. So they don't really get it that if that happened to them, they are going to be really, really hurt. They see the reaction in the other child, they see your look of displeasure, and they know by those facial reactions that they've kind of done something, but they don't feel it here, they don't feel it in their hearts, that they don't have that empathy basically. And so these toys, these either transitional toys that you're using for therapeutic purposes, again I have a video on transitional toys, I will link that for you as well. These transitional toys can also be ways of teaching toddlers and even preschoolers and even school age children about feelings. So if you want to take an example of, you want to show them that if they bite somebody, it's going to hurt. Now some parents fall into the trap of thinking if they hurt their child back in a similar way that that's going to do the trick. And as I said in my last video, that just gives an element of surprise. You hurt them, you feel bad, they cry, it doesn't really do what you want it to do. But of course, this one here, he has an arm, he has a leg, so you could demonstrate what it's going to be like if you bite this toy, and this toy is now sad, and the toy is going to need comforting, and the toy might actually need to have a band-aid, a bandage, a plaster, whatever you call it in your country, on an arm, wrap up the arm, because the arm is now hurt. You see what I mean? So you're kind of going with something they've already personalized, that they love, that they're giving personality and feeling to, and you're showing them that actually some of the things maybe that they're doing are not kind, and that if you do something like that on this toy, then that toy is going to be hurt. And you can take that through into all sorts of scenarios. I'm sure you can think of things like kind hands. So you could actually have 2 toys, the one that they love and the one that just another toy, and one of the toys could hit the other toy. It doesn't really matter which way you go, and one of the toys gets hurt. Again, you could teach them about kind hands that way. Same with kicking. And also you could take this through into other emotions as well, and other physical things. So for example, you are going to sit down, several toys to eat a meal, and this toy is going to be part of that, and maybe you want to teach them that they need to eat a little bit more. So you sit all the toys around, you put some either real food or false food on the plate, and this toy, Ben in this case, turns his nose up and he walks away and he goes to play with other things, and the other toys sit around and they carry on eating, and he comes back and he looks at his food and he goes away again, and then you start rubbing the belly of Ben and going, oh, he's so hungry now, he's so hungry, he just wants sweets, or he just wants candy, but he didn't eat his dinner and he's just so hungry. He has a painful tummy now, his tummy is really, really hurting. And that's one thing you can do. Another thing you might be able to do is perhaps your toddler is resisting sleep and is up all the time, or just doesn't want to be put down to bed. I mean, how many of us have experienced that? I've got 5 birth children as well as my 2 adopted sons, and I know. I mean, to be fair, Ben looks really tired. He's always got closed eyes, so we always laugh about that with our son, that he's always asleep. So you could do a little role play again. You lay down Ben to sleep. He pops up again. He's starting to go around the bedroom and he's starting to look at the toys and the books, and you put him down to bed again and he pops up again, and then you're kind of role playing, oh, you know, Ben's so tired, he can't enjoy the TV anymore, he can't enjoy his books, he doesn't want to play with his friends because he's falling asleep, he's so tired. So basically what I'm saying is use the toy to role play, involve the child. It's so fun. Build up a history for Ben if you want to. So if you are dealing with fostered or adopted children and you know they have an abusive or neglectful history, don't go too mad by giving this one such a sad story that the child is traumatized by that, and it's re-traumatizing. If the child is older, say 6+, then you can build up more of a detailed history that maybe mirrors theirs, so that they can identify even more with the toy. But of course, in the early days, you don't want to re-traumatize that childhood trauma too much. But you might be able to say something like, you know, Ben's donkey mum and dad, they're in another country, they can't look after him, and you're going to look after him. So that gives them an idea that Ben's has some sort of separation, and that they're now going to be caring for Ben. And it's really lovely to see how they will take things on board. You could say that an uncle hurt his leg and he doesn't want to be near the uncle anymore, so we need to stop him going anywhere near the uncle, but just don't go too mad with it. Yeah, don't go too mad with it. Ben could have his own storybooks. Ben could live in a bag and have his own stuff with him all the time. Ben could actually just live like a real person and could be at tea times with you, could be at bedtimes, could be when you're having cuddles with your child, could be there. And to start with, it will feel like it's a bit much because Ben is everywhere, and you won't be able to go anywhere without him. But as the child gets older, so my children are now 12 and 13, believe it or not, they still have their toys in their room and one of them still sleeps with them. The older one is now putting Ben to one side in the corner of the bed and not actually sleeping with him. That's the first year that's not happened. But these toys have helped these boys through so many traumas and difficulties. And at times I have used them to help them talk. So when I want one of the children to open out, so say you have a 4-year-old and they just really struggle to tell you anything about their emotions, that is so common. That's common in children of an average background, but super common with children with childhood trauma. You can't get them to express to you. You know they have the words, and you know actually they do know, they understand the feelings, but they cannot express them to you. So you talk to the child, you talk to Ben, and you say, you know, how are you feeling today, Ben? And I've heard you've had a bad day. You've had a bad day at preschool, and I don't think you've got on very well with that boy that keeps taking your cars. And you get Ben to talk to you. He tells you all about it, you listen intently, and then you talk back the story between you and the toy. And gradually you will watch your child relax more and engage in it, and then Ben can turn to your child and ask your child how they got on today, and before you know it, you're not asking a direct questions, Ben is, and you know what, they'll tell their toy much more than they will tell you. I hope that helps you. I'm sure you can start to build up your imagination. Go wild with it, go wild, because children don't care. It's only us that worry about looking silly. Hope you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're interested in adoption, fostering, childhood trauma, or general parenting, and I will see you on Fly Little Birds. Thank you.